Keeping up with everything today, it's almost overwhelming, isn't it? Just information coming at you constantly. But what if there is a way to cut through that noise, to really pull out the key stuff from the sources you actually
That's
trust?
exactly what we're aiming for here. We sort of act as filters, helping you dive into your material and find the really crucial takeaways.
And today, yeah, we're jumping into a topic that's just everywhere right now. It came from this really interesting mix of sources you send over. We've got YouTube explainers, some deep technical dives, even debates about how important it actually is.
We do. The topic is prompt engineering.
Right.
And our mission for this deep dive, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
We want to arm you with knowledge about prompt engineering that you can actually use. Like
Mm-hmm.
right away. It doesn't matter if you're super technical or just starting to play with AI. The goal is to spark some of those aha moments.
Totally. And to get there, we looked at, well, a lot of different viewpoints. YouTube creators like Nick Seriev, IBM Technology, Corbin Brown, Zero to Mastery.
Also AI Foundations, Assembly AI, Rick Mulready, Tiago Forte, Futurepedia, AI Master, freecodecamp.org. It's quite the list.
It is. And then there were the written resources too. Things like Essential Concepts of Prompt Engineering, Foundations of Prompt Engineering Handbook, Methods and Techniques, Exercises and Applications, and The Craft of Prompt Engineering.
So yeah, a broad spectrum. We've kind of synthesized the key themes from all of that. Okay, so maybe the first place to start is, what is prompt engineering really?
Good question. Based on everything we've seen, the simplest way to put it is it's about writing effective instructions, the prompts to get the answers or results you want from these big AI models, the LLMs.
Right, it's like giving directions to well, a very powerful, slightly unpredictable digital brain. The clearer your directions, the better chance you have of ending up where you want to go.
And I liked how several sources put it almost like programming in natural language.
Yeah, that phrase came up a lot. Instead of code, you're using English or whatever language to instruct the AI,
Hmm.
which leads to that other point we saw debated. Is this a whole career path, or is it just a skill everyone needs now?
The consensus seems to be leaning towards a vital skill. Maybe there are specialist prompt engineers, but the ability to talk effectively to AI, that seems like it's becoming fundamental for lots of jobs.
Which makes sense. It's about efficiency and getting the most out of these tools. So, okay, why is it actually important to get good at this?
Well, the sources really hammered this home. Good prompt engineering is basically the key to unlocking the real potential of LLMs productively.
If you just throw vague requests at them, you get vague, or sometimes just plain wrong answers back right. It helps you steer clear of those AI hallucinations where the model just makes stuff up but sounds confident about it.
Exactly. It's about precision, getting the specific thing you need for your specific task. You can't just tell it, write something, you need to guide it towards the right something.
And interestingly, even as the underlying AI models get smarter, the sources suggest that good prompting is still crucial for getting those really tailored, high-quality results. The model might be capable, but it needs good direction.
Okay, so if we agree it's important, what actually goes into a good prompt? What are the core components?
Our sources highlighted a few key building blocks. It seems pretty consistent across the board.
First, obviously, you need the actual instruction or the question, the thing you want the AI to do or answer. Pretty much every source agreed you need at least one clear task.
Absolutely. Then there's context, background info, anything the AI needs to know to understand your request properly.
And this seems really important for getting specific, actionable results. Giving it the right background makes a huge difference.
Generally, yeah, more context is better, but there's a catch the token limit. You mentioned tokens earlier, like pieces of words.
Right, the models can only handle so much input at once. Go over that limit, and it might just ignore the start of your prompt or the end. Something to be aware of.
Definitely. Another big one is providing examples. This is often called few-shot learning.
Ah, yes. Showing the AI what a good answer looks like. Input,
Yeah.
output. Here's what I gave, here's what I want back.
Exactly, and apparently even just one good example can significantly improve the output quality. It gives the model a clear pattern to follow.
Makes sense. Then there's specifying the output format, telling it how you want the answer structured.
Yeah, do you need bullet points, a numbered list?
Yeah.
Maybe data formatted as JSON or CSV for use in another program? Being explicit about that saves you a lot of reformatting later.
JSON and CSV, those are just standard ways computers structure data, right? Makes it easy to plug the output into spreadsheets or other tools.
Precisely. And then the idea of persona came up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, telling the AI who to be, like Act as an experienced travel agent or respond like a physics professor.
Right. It helps tailor the tone, the style, the kind of information it prioritizes. One source even had that example of telling it to act like a spoken English teacher for feedback.
Clever. It is. And finally, you can set limitations or rules, tell it what not to do or what to make sure it includes. Boundaries, basically.
Okay, so those are the main ingredients. Instructions, context, examples, format, persona, rules. Now, what about the actual techniques, the strategies for putting these together effectively?
Well, one thing that jumped out across multiple sources was conciseness, getting straight to the point.
Shorter, information-dense prompts often work better than long, rambling ones.
Apparently so. There was that slightly odd phrase, AO obfuscation espo elucidation.
Huh. Yeah, basically meaning avoid being confusing, aim for clarity, keep it simple, keep it clear.
And some sources suggested that really long prompts might even confuse the model, dilute the core instruction.
Interesting. So less can be more, if it's the right less. Another key thing seemed to be understanding the different prompt types, especially if you're using more advanced tools. System, user, assistant.
Right. The system prompt kind of sets the overall behavior or personality for the whole conversation. User prompt is your specific input each time. Assistant is the AI's reply.
Knowing that difference helps, especially in those API playgrounds or workbenches where you have more control.
Yeah, those playgrounds let you get under the hood a bit more, tweak settings.
And speaking of tweaking, iteration is massive, isn't it? You almost never get the perfect prompt first time.
Oh, definitely not. It's all about trial and error. Start simple, see what happens, then refine. Add more detail, clarify instructions, maybe provide a better example.
That idea of prompt chaining fits here too, right? Using the output of one prompt to feed into the next one, building up complexity step by step.
Exactly. And it's not just random tweaking. We saw mentions of the Monte Carlo approach.
Which is basically testing the same prompt multiple times to see if it consistently gives good results.
Yeah, checks for reliability, make sure your prompt actually works well, not just got lucky once.
Makes sense. What other specific techniques stood out?
Well, we already mentioned explicitly defining the output format that came up again and again. Also, avoiding conflicting instructions within the same prompt seems like basic good practice.
And controlling the tone. You could ask for a formal tone or a casual one, or even that Spartan style for directness.
That persona assignment, too, seems really powerful, telling the AI to adopt a specific role.
And few-shot prompting, giving those examples, seems fundamental.
Then there are slightly more, I guess, structured techniques, like chain of thought.
Yeah. Asking the AI to think step by step or explain its reasoning helps with complex problems. Apparently, it encourages more logical outputs.
And least to most, prompting, breaking down a big problem into smaller sequential prompts.
Sort of related to prompt chaining, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And how about using AI to help write prompts? Meta prompting.
Yeah, that was a cool one. Getting the AI to suggest better ways to ask it questions. And for efficiency, templating prompts.
Oh, saving your successful prompt structures. That makes a ton of sense. If you find a format that works well for summarizing articles, save it as a template.
Totally. And just like any project, having clear goals helps. Using that SMART framework specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound for what you want the prompt to achieve.
And being explicit. Don't assume the AI knows things. Spell out your requirements clearly.
We also need to remember that context window, the token limit, especially for long conversations or feeding in big documents. It affects cost too, right? Tokens usually cost money when using APIs.
Good point, yeah. Practical consideration.
Yeah.
And using structured formats like JSON or XML if you need to integrate the output elsewhere.
For more control, those API playgrounds let you adjust things like temperature. What exactly does that do again?
Temperature basically controls randomness. Lower temperature means more focused, predictable output. Higher temperature allows for more creativity, maybe more unexpected results.
Gotcha. And those playgrounds also let you use the system message more effectively.
And we even saw AI being used to generate examples for few-shot learning, sort of AI bootstrapping itself.
That's pretty meta. Then we got into some even more advanced stuff, RAG.
Retrieval augmented generation. Basically giving the LLM access to external up-to-date knowledge, like letting it consult a specific database or document library before answering. Very powerful for domain-specific tasks.
And react, reasoning and acting.
Yeah, that lets the AI not just reason, but also interact with external tools. Like, it could decide it needs to search the web, perform the search, then use that info in its answer. Thought, action, observation loop.
Wow. Okay. And then simpler ones like knowledge first, just give it all the info up front. Or the explain it to an 8-year-old technique.
That's a great one for simplifying complex topics. Just ask the AI to break it down simply. And DSP, directional stimulus prompting, guiding it towards certain kinds of answers.
There were also some neat little tricks like asking for evidence or citations,
Right, which kind of nudges the model towards accuracy, hopefully.
or explicitly giving it room to think, asking it to outline its steps internally before giving the final answer.
Or even just asking, do you understand the instructions? A simple check.
Yeah, catch misunderstandings early. It's interesting, though, because we also saw a different perspective from sources like Rick Mulready.
Suggesting maybe we shouldn't get too caught up in the engineering part?
Yeah, exactly. More focus on just clear thinking, asking good questions, really understanding what outcome you want. The idea being that AI is getting better at understanding natural language anyway.
So the emphasis shifts a bit from complex prompt crafting to just being a really clear communicator and thinker.
Which kind of debunks the myth of the perfect prompt formula, doesn't it? It sounds more like an ongoing process of communication and refinement.
Yeah, less magic formula, more good communication principles applied to AI. Plus, as you mentioned, tools are appearing that help generate prompts, shifting the skill towards defining the goal clearly.
So wrapping this all up, prompt engineering, or maybe just effective AI communication, is clearly a valuable skill.
Definitely. But maybe less about rigid engineering rules and more about, understanding the tool, being clear, being explicit, and iterating, learning how to have a productive conversation with these models.
It's pretty essential if you want to really leverage what these LLMs can do.
Absolutely.
So, thinking about all this, now that you, listening, have heard this deep dive, maybe the question is, how are you going to approach your next chat with an AI?
Yeah, we really hope you'll try some of these techniques out. Experiment, see what works for you, play with personas, try chain of thought, give it examples.
We covered a lot, and maybe some specific techniques really caught your ear. We definitely encourage you to explore those further, go back to the sources, dig deeper. It's such a fast-moving area.
Your own experimentation is going to be key. And hey, we genuinely love to hear how you get on.
Yeah, share those aha moments or any cool results you get from applying these ideas. It helps everyone learn as we figure out this new landscape together.